students, welcome back to MKG Online Study, an e-learning platform. In this video, we are going to learn how hardware remember. Let me ask you a question, a very simple question. How does a calculator remember the number you typed 5 seconds ago? Think about it. You press 2, then 5, then plus, then 1, then 7. And somehow the calculator remembers everything. But wait, in the previous video we learned that hardware simply responds to signals. So where does memory come from? How can a circuit remember something that happened in the past? And here is the crazy part. Every CPU, every GPU, every smartphone, every AI accelerator exists because hardware learned how to remember. Today, we are going to uncover one of the biggest secrets in digital system. Look around you. Your phone remembers password. Your browser remembers websites. Your laptop remembers files. Your CPU remembers instruction. RAM remembers data. Everything remembers. But where does memory come from? Does memory magically appear? Or is it built from something smaller? By the end of this video, you will answer. Before we understand memory, let's revisit everything we have built so far. Remember this. Assign y equals to a and b. Simple. And AND gate. One of the first hardware description we learned. Does the circuit remember everything or anything? No. And that's extremely important. This circuit belongs to a family called combinational logic. Simple idea that is output depends only on current inputs, nothing else. Not the past, not 1 second ago, not yesterday, only what is happening right now. That is, no past information is stored. You can see in this table that when When you are having input A and B, then output is Y. No past information is stored. Current input, current output. Imagine meeting a person who forgets everything every second. You ask a question, they answer. 1 second later, they completely forget the conversation. That is combinational logic. It has digital amnesia. It cannot remember anything. Imagine a pipe. Water enters, water exits. Simple. But what gets stored inside? Nothing. The pipe doesn't remember yesterday's water. It does not remember last week's water. It simply passes information through. Combinational logic works exactly the same way. Now, let's build a calculator using only combinational logic. You enter 2 plus 3 and the output becomes 5. Great. Now, remove the inputs. What happens? The answer disappears because the circuit forgets everything. Suddenly, we have a huge problem. A calculator without memory is useless. What if hardware could remember? Now let's ask a dangerous question. What if hardware could remember a value even after the input disappears? Everything changes because now hardware can use its past, and that takes us into an entirely new world. Welcome to the world of sequential logic. Unlike combinational logic, sequential logic remembers, and this is where real computing begins. Current input plus previous output, that is sequential logic. The second type of logic is called sequential logic. And unlike combinational logic, it remembers. Do remember, dear student, that sequential logic remembers everything. The format that changes everything. Combinational output depends only on current inputs. You can see that output depends only on current inputs. For sequential logic, output depends on the current inputs plus previous state or previous output. This single formula separates two worlds. Combinational logic uses only present inputs. Sequential logic uses current inputs, values, past informations, that's memory. Because now hardware has memory, the second part changes everything. Hardware can use its past. Read that again. Hardware can use its past. Think about how powerful that is. For the first time, hardware has history. It can remember something that happened earlier. That's the word of memory. Let's compare two things, a pipe and a water tank. A pipe stores nothing. A water tank stores water. That's exactly the difference between combinational logic and sequential logic. One stores information, one doesn't. Imagine trying to solve a huge math problem. But you're not allowed to write anything down. Impossible. You need memory, a notebook, a place to store information. Without memory, modern computers could never exist. Now meet the latch. Engineers face the same problem. They needed a way to store information. So they invented something called a latch. Think of it as a tiny storage box. Small, simple, but revolutionary. Let's visualization. Data enters, let's stores it. Data remains available later. That's memory. For the first time, a circuit can hold information, store and hold data or information. Why latches are dangerous? But there was a problem. Latches are always listening, always watching inputs, always ready to change. Imagine trying to take notes while somebody keeps erasing and rewriting your notebook. Engineers wanted more control. And the flip-flop. And then comes one of the most important inventions in digital electronics, the flip-flop. If digital electronics had items, flip-flops would be one of them. They are everywhere, literally everywhere. Why flip-flop matters? Inside CPUs, inside GPUs, inside FPGAs, inside air accelerator, flip-flops store information and without them, modern computing wouldn't exist. Think of matter. Memory atoms. Everything is built from atoms. Think of digital memory. Everything is built from flip-flops, registers, counters, state machines, memories, processor. Everything starts here. A new problem exists. Now we have memory, great, but another problem appears. What happens if billion of flip-flops update whenever they want? Chaos, total chaos. We need synchronization, we need order. Beat the clock, the heartbeat of hardware, and that's where the clock enters the story. This signal changed computing forever. The clock tells hardware, update now, not before, not after, now. And suddenly, billions of circuits can work together. Imagine an orchestra without a conductor, everyone plays randomly. Disaster. With a conductor, everything becomes synchronized. The clock is the conductor of digital system. One flip-flop stores one bit, Many flip-flops together become a register. Registers are tiny memory units and CPUs contain lots of them. Everything, every instruction executed by a CPU relies on register. Every calculation, every operation, every program. Without register, there is no CPU. And without flip-flops, there are no register. Now you can see how everything connects, everything clicks. Let's summarize. Combinational logic, no memory. Sequential logic, memory. That's the difference. One reacts, one remembers. The golden rule. If you remember only one thing from today's lecture, remember this. Combinational logic, current inputs only. Sequential logic, current inputs plus previous state. That single rule explains almost everything. And now we arrive at the biggest realization. Hardware doesn't just react anymore. Hardware can remember. And once hardware can remember, it can learn states, track history, execute programs, run operating system, power modern computing. Now look at this. Always at the rate postage clock. You have probably seen this before. Maybe it looked scary, maybe it looked mysterious, but now you know something. This line is deeply connected to memory and deeply connected to clocks. In the next video, we will uncover one of the most important signals in all of electronics, the clock. Why does every CPU have one? Why do engineers always over clock frequency? What is postage? What is negate? And why does the entire semiconductor industry revolve around clocks? We will answer all of that next. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Today you have learned how hardware remembers. Next time we learn what controls that memory. If you love this video, hit the thumbs up, share this with your friends and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your support.